The sky was filled with smoke. Ash floated like snow over broken machines and fallen soldiers. Crushed helmets lay beside burning wrecks. The war had ended hours ago, but no one celebrated. Only silence remained, heavy and thick, like the dust. In the air, among the ruins of a shattered tank, something moved. Barely a hand twitched. Fingers, long and clawed, scraped weakly at the blackened ground. It was small, elegant, coated in greenish-blue blood that glowed faintly against the gray ash. Most would have missed it, but not him. Darren climbed over a pile of scorched debris, scanning for leftover tech. It wasn't a soldier, he had no rank, just a salvager, always searching for parts before the scavenger drones arrived. But today, his boots stopped near a cracked energy cell. Not because of the tech, but because he heard something, a soft, broken sound. Like a breath fighting not to fade, he turned slowly. A body lay face down between twisted armor plates. Alien, female. Small, a pale crown lay near her shattered shoulder. Blood covered her side. Her leg was bent the wrong way. But her back, it rose and fell, barely. He hesitated. This was one of them. The enemy. A royal, by the look of her robes. Probably a general or a queen. Maybe even the one who had ordered. The human outposts destroyed. She should have been dead. She was supposed to be dead. Darren raised his rifle, just in case. He stepped closer. Her hand shifted again. Then her eyes opened. Not wide, just a sliver. But that was enough bright gold, piercing. Even in pain, her eyes held something ancient, something proud. She blinked slowly and looked straight at him then. Her lips moved. No sound came at first. Just a breath. Then one word. A whisper, soft. Almost too soft to hear. His name. Darren. His heart stopped. He dropped to one knee. How did she know his name? He had never met her before. Her kind. Didn't speak to his. Not like that. Not with a voice so full of pain and something else. Sorrow, she coughed, and more glowing blood spilled down her side. He looked around. No one else was there. No medics. No drones yet. If he left now, she'd die in minutes. He could walk away. Let the war claim one more life. But something inside him refused. He dropped his bag, pulled off his jacket and pressed it to her wound. She gasped, then gritted her teeth. Her claws twitched, but didn't strike him. You're not safe here, he muttered, tying the jacket tight. Neither am I, she didn't answer. Her eyes rolled back. Unconscious again. Darren lifted her. Gently, she was light, too light. Bones felt like glass under her skin. Her body trembled in his arms. He hurried back toward his hovercart. Every step crunching over the bones of a war that should have never happened. Flames flickered in the distance. The wind carried the scent of melted steel and scorched flesh. He kept moving. The cart beeped in protest as he laid her on it. But it held. He covered her with a worn blanket and started pushing the cart down a hidden path through the ruins. Faster now. He had only minutes before scanners swept the area. But just before they left the battlefield behind, something else made him stop her crown. It still lay where he had found her. He turned back, ran to it, and picked it up. It was cracked. Down the center, once beautiful, now broken, but still pulsing faintly with royal energy. It burned his finger slightly, but he held on. He shoved it into his bag and returned to the cart. As they disappeared into the shadows of a half-collapsed transport tunnel, a quiet voice rose behind the smoke and fire. A message broadcast in an ancient language only royals used. The young queen is fallen. Let her die with honor. Darren glanced at the girl in his cart. He tightened the blanket around her fragile frame. She's not dead yet, he whispered. He didn't know what she was, or why she knew his name, but something told him this. It wasn't just a rescue. It was the beginning of something far bigger, and he had just become part of it. The room was dark, quiet, and cold. She opened her eyes slowly. The ceiling above her was made of rusted metal panels. A dim yellow light blinked in the corner. Her body ached. Her chest burned. Something was wrapped around her ribs. Her leg was stiff, but no longer broken. She wasn't dead, but she wasn't safe either. The queen of the shattered Eastern Claw Empire, the last living blood of the royal line, was in a human's den. She sat up fast, eyes wide, sharp breath cutting the silence. Pain rushed. Through her ribs, she winced, but didn't stop. Her hand shot toward her waist, no blade, no armor, no gloves, just a tight bandage. And a strange scent in the air. Human scent. Oil and old smoke. Footsteps. She turned her head sharply. A figure stepped through the sliding metal door, tall, armored, wearing a worn gray shirt and black gloves. His hands held a bowl of something. Warm steam rose from it. He paused when he saw her awake. They stared at each other. He didn't speak first. She did. "Where am I?" Her voice was hoarse, dry, but her tone held command. Even now, injured, bare, and weak, she was still. "Royalty. You're in my safe house," he replied calmly. "You were dying. I stopped that." She narrowed her glowing eyes. "Why?" He shrugged. "You were alive. Everyone else was ash." She leaned back slightly. Her claws gripped the edge of the makeshift bed. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing." Phew. Didn't believe that. "No one helps without reason," she said coldly. "Especially not a human." He stepped closer, slowly, not threatening. "Just steady." "I saw you bleed," he said, placing the bowl on a nearby crate. "Didn't matter what species you were. No one deserved to be left behind like that." She looked down at her chest. The bandage was wrapped cleanly, firm, but not cruel. The work of someone careful, not careless. There were no restraints on her hands, no chains, no force fields, just silence. Her mind raced. He nodded. "Probably you almost died." She glanced back at him. "And yet you kept me alive." Again, silence. This time, she broke it with something unexpected. "What's your name?" He blinked once, then gave a slow answer. "Darren Cole." She stared at him. She had heard that name before, not on Earth, but deep within the Imperial archives. From old intelligence reports, a human technician, no rank, no special blood. Just a scavenger who once refused to hand over weapons to a corrupt general and disappeared into exile. "Why are you out here?" she asked. "Same as everyone," he said, walking to a console and checking sensors, trying to survive what the galaxy's become. Her eyes flicked to the small table behind him. Her broken crown sat there, carefully, cleaned, not destroyed, not sold, not mocked. Her fingers twitched. She tried to stand, and fell. He rushed forward, but she snarled, "Don't touch me." He froze mid-step. She used the wall to pull herself up, slow and shaking. Her leg barely held weight. "Where is my weapon?" she asked, voice like ice. He reached under the table and handed it to her. Her spear was snapped. The blade cracked. But the hilt still hummed faintly with energy. "I didn't throw it away," he said. "Didn't think it was right." She held it close to her chest. She looked at him, really looked. He wasn't armed. No guns, no cuffs, no scanner drones. Buzzing in the corners, he hadn't sold her out? Not yet. Her voice dropped lower. "My people believe I'm dead." "I heard the broadcast," he said. "They already crowned a replacement." She didn't react at first. Then she said one word, quiet and bitter. "Traitors." She looked away again, eyes burning, but not from pain. From betrayal. He didn't interrupt her thoughts. Instead, he stepped back and sat down on a nearby stool, sipping from a dented metal cup. "You can leave if you want," he said after a moment. "No one's stopping you." She turned back slowly. "I can't walk more than 10 steps, she said, "and I don't know this place." He nodded. "You can stay until you're strong enough. I don't owe your people anything, but I'm not heartless." Her head tilted slightly. "And if I regain my strength and kill you?" He smiled, calm and tired. "Then I guess I'll regret giving you soup." For the first time since she woke, her lips twitched. Not a smile, not yet, but almost. She lowered herself back onto the bed slowly. "Don't give me pity," she whispered. "I didn't," he replied. "I gave you a second chance, that's all." Closed her eyes again, this time by choice, and for the first time since the battle. She slept without fear, but deep inside her instincts whispered something dangerous. This man was not ordinary, and the reason she said his name on that battlefield. It wasn't an accident, it was fate. The lights flickered above her again. She sat alone on the bed, silent, her hand pressed against the bandage on her ribs. Each time her fingers brushed the edge, a soft pulse answered from underneath. Not pain, not heat. A rhythm faint, but steady, like something was alive beneath her skin. Something that didn't belong to her alone. Darren entered quietly, holding a clean bandage roll and a cup of water. "You should let me check it," he said. She didn't answer. He waited, then stepped forward. She finally nodded once. He knelt beside her, unwrapping the old cloth carefully. The moment he peeled back the final layer, froze. Her wound, a deep slash from shoulder to waist, was nearly closed. No human or alien tech could heal that fast. Not in days. But the skin wasn't normal. It shimmered faintly like glass. Under moonlight, thin golden veins ran through it, glowing gently with each heartbeat. Not mechanical, not synthetic. Something else, organic, but ancient. He reached out slowly. She grabbed his wrist. "What is it?" he asked. She looked at her own body, as if she was seeing it for the first time. "I don't know." "That wound should have killed you," he whispered. "I know." They sat in silence. The glow under her skin pulsed again, stronger this time, spreading across her ribs like a ripple in a pond. Then she pulled her tunic lower, revealing the top of her chest. The same light shimmered beneath the surface. Forming symbols, old ones. He stepped back, breath caught in his throat. "I've seen that," he said, "in the ruins of Elrus 5. Those markings, they were on the throne. Stones, royal blood, enhanced with some kind of ancient core." Her eyes narrowed. "My ancestors made a pact with something powerful, something older than empires." "Are you saying Darren said you were born with this?" "No," she whispered. "It awakened the moment you touched me." He stared at her, stunned. "What does that mean?" "I think," she said. "Slowly, I bonded to you. Through blood, through pain." He shook his head. "That's not possible. It shouldn't be," she agreed. "But it is." She stood, slowly, carefully. Her strength had returned more than either of them realized. Her legs were steady, her eyes sharp, but her skin still glowed, not with fire, not with power, but with a connection. "You said I spoke your name on the battlefield," she said. He nodded. "Maybe I didn't just say it," she continued. "Maybe I summoned you." The air in the room felt heavier. She looked into his eyes, not with fear, not with pride, but with something ancient. "There's an old story," she said, "told only to the heirs of the royal bloodline, that if the bloodline ever faced extinction, the core flame inside the air would reach beyond their world and choose a protector. Not of royal blood, not of the empire. Us. Stranger. Someone who would not benefit, but who would act anyway." "Think I'm that stranger," he said quietly. She stepped forward. The floor creaked under her bare feet. "I don't think," she said. "I know." The wound on her side shimmered, then dimmed. For a second it looked fully healed. He turned, walked toward the old storage bin in the corner, and pulled something. Out a metal box, black with gold trim. He opened it. Inside lay a small chip, cracked. Dirty, but still functional. "I found this near you," he said. "It fell out of your armor." She took it, recognized the royal encryption at once, and activated it with her blood. A small projection blinked to life. Her own face appeared, a recording made before the war. "If I fall," the message said, "then by sacred code and core flame, let my bond seek one who does not seek power, one who does not follow orders, one who acts by heart alone." She looked up at Darren. "It chose you before I did." Took a step back. "I didn't ask for this. Neither did I," she said. Her eyes dropped for a second. Then her hands rose, and she placed his palm against her scar. The moment. His skin touched hers. The glow spread up her neck, down her arms, across her chest, and into his hand. He gasped as the symbols ran across his veins. I felt that, he whispered. I gave you a part of me, she said. And now we're linked. How long? He asked. She paused. If I die, she said, it stays with you. If you live, then we become something new. The lights above them flickered again, but this time the pulse matched their shared rhythm, far above the planet. In the orbiting wreckage of an abandoned war satellite, an ancient scanner blinked awake. It detected the bond. It sent a signal, and across the stars. Someone else received it. Someone who once wore a crown beside her. Someone who believed she should have died on that battlefield. Someone who now knew she had survived. Rain tapped softly against the rooftop inside the bunker. The lights flickered twice, then stayed steady. Darren had just sealed a cracked vent near the entrance. He turned, wiping his hands on his shirt. The queen sat quietly on the floor, sharpening. The broken edge of her spear, with a long strip of alien metal, her ribs had stopped glowing, but something about her felt different now. More alert. More dangerous. She looked up sharply. Someone's here. He froze. How do you know? She closed her eyes for a second. I can feel them. He reached for his rifle, checking the chamber, then moved to the back wall, where a long-range scanner was buried under wires. It was already blinking red. 2 ships landed, said. Stealth class? No ID code, not soldiers, she said. Bounty hunters. Looking for you? She didn't reply, but her eyes said yes. Darren moved fast. He handed her a small blade, then reached for the emergency power switch near the door. The bunker lights dimmed. Outside, a door creaked. They weren't alone anymore. The queen moved silently to the side wall, crouched low. Her body tensed like a predator, eyes locked on the darkened hallway beyond the door. Darren stood. Beside her, rifle raised. The first sound came. Soft feet on metal. Careful. Trained. Then a flash. A grenade rolled inside, small. Round, blinking green. The queen didn't hesitate. She kicked it back out the door. Fast and hard. It exploded mid-air, throwing to hunters against the wall outside. Screams echoed through the ruins. She stood tall now, eyes glowing faint gold. They'll send more. Darren nodded. She grabbed her cracked spear and moved toward the exit. I thought you were still healing, he said. I am, she answered. But I can fight through pain, can you? He didn't speak, but he followed her into the smoke. Outside, the rain had stopped. A third hunter appeared on the roof, firing down with a shock cannon. The queen spun and raised her spear. It cracked with light and deflected the bolt midair. Sending a blast into the wall beside him, the hunter tumbled from the roof, hitting the ground with a sharp crack. Darren stared. You didn't do that yesterday. I didn't have to. They moved together through the ruined path, flanking the last 2 intruders, trying to reroute power to the scanner. One aimed, fired, missed. The other swung a charged blade toward her chest. She caught it in midair with her bare hand. The energy sizzled around her fingers, but her grip didn't break. With one motion, she shattered the blade and brought her knee up into the hunter's chest. He didn't get up. The last one turned to run. But Darren fired once, hitting the man in the shoulder and sending him sprawling into mud. Silence returned. Only the hum of broken tech and the faint tremble of her power remained. Darren lowered his rifle slowly. She walked toward the last hunter, placed her foot on his chest, and ripped off his mask. A mechanical eye glared at her. Who sent you? The hunter coughed blood. They said you were dead. I was. Then why are you glowing like her? She frowned. Who's her? The other queen, he gasped. The one who took your place? Her face turned cold. You saw? Her, she wears your crown, but not your blood. He reached for something under his coat. Her foot pressed harder on his chest. Don't. She warned, but he smiled through bloody teeth. It's too late. He pressed the button. A beacon. Silent. Flashing. Someone now knew. Her exact location, she crushed it with her spear, then turned and walked away. Darren followed, his eyes on the clouds above. More will come, he said. They already have. She answered. They returned to the bunker. She dropped her spear on the floor and sat down against the wall. Her hands trembled. Darren saw it. You're exhausted. I've been worse, she said, but her voice cracked. He handed her water. She drank without a word. He sat beside her. Why didn't they just kill you back there in the field? He asked. She looked at him because killing me wasn't enough. They needed people to believe I was gone. They needed my bloodline erased without martyrdom. Then they'll try again, she said. And next time, Darren added, they'll bring more than 3. She nodded once. Slowly her hand slipped to her ribs again. The glow was returning this time, pulsing deeper, spreading through her back and arms. Her body wasn't just healing anymore. It was changing. He noticed her skin had darkened slightly at the edges, not bruised, but strengthened, thicker, war-born. You're becoming something else, he whispered. She leaned her head back against the wall. If I don't control it, I won't be me anymore. You're not alone, he said. She turned toward him. Not with pride, not with command, but something quiet. Hope, then stay, she said. No matter what I become, stay. He nodded. The lights in the bunker dimmed again, and above them, far off in the stars, a fleet shifted course. The Queen had been found, and now, Earth was no longer a distant world. It had become the center of the war. The bunker was quiet again, but the silence had changed. It was heavier now, not because of the storm outside, but because of the words still floating between them. Darren stood by the terminal, reading an ancient data ship she had given him. Lines of alien script filled the cracked screen, a language he shouldn't have been able to read. Now it made perfect sense. She was watching him from the shadows of the room, her face half lit by a glowing panel. Her eyes had shifted, still golden, but deeper now, lines of light running through them, like cracks in a mask. He looked up. These symbols, he said. They talk about a ritual. She nodded slowly. It's not just ritual, she said. It's law. It's legacy. He stepped closer. What does it mean? Her hand moved to her chest, not the wound, but the place just above her heart. There is a bond that exists only once in 1,000 cycles. One life spares another when all hope is gone. In that moment, a thread is tied. He stared at her, his voice quiet. Tied how? She stood. Her steps were careful now, not from weakness, but because of the power inside her shifting with every breath. When I bled on the battlefield, she said, when I whispered your name, the thread was formed. The bond began. He said nothing, but his heart pounded. She stopped in front of him. Her voice dropped low. If I die now, you won't just mourn me. Her glowing hand rose, fingers just brushing the edge of his jacket. You will become me? He took a slow breath. You mean, this thing in your blood, it'll pass to me? It's not just the blood, she whispered. My memory, my will, my instincts, the throne, the enemies, the ancient pact, all of it. Ack! Voice tightened. I didn't ask for that. Neither did I. He turned away, pacing. I'm not a warrior. I'm not a leader. I'm a salvager. A guy who digs through trash and hopes it still works. You saved me, she said, when no one else would. It makes you more than what you think. You are. He slammed his fist against the metal table. I didn't save you to steal your life. She walked toward him slowly. You won't steal it, she said. It will choose you. He looked at his hands, and for the first time he saw it. Veins lit with the same soft glow that ran beneath her skin. He stepped back. It's already started, hasn't it? She nodded. The bond is growing. Each hour we share space, it deepens. He sat down heavily, staring at the floor. What happens if I reject it? You die, she said. Or worse, your body breaks apart, trying to carry something it doesn't accept. He exhaled sharply, staring at her again. Then what do I do? She knelt in front of him. You don't run from it, you shape it. She opened a satchel from the corner and pulled out a small, jagged crystal. It pulsed with the same gold light. This is a soul memory shard, she said. It contains the thoughts of the last royal who carried the core flame. Another bond, he asked. No, she said. A warning. He touched it, and suddenly he was standing in a burning throne. Room screaming, fire. Blades, a queen holding her chest as energy poured out of her. Then a man, not alien, not human, collapsed as her light poured into him. And then silence. He pulled back, shaking. She died, saving him. She did, the queen said. And he changed. He was never the same, she said. But he became something the galaxy feared. Darren leaned back. Then why did it end? She looked down because the man couldn't hold on to himself. He stood again, chest tight. I don't want to lose who I am. She placed her hand on his chest. Then stay close to me, she said. Let me guide it. Let me share the burden. He looked at her. Really looked. There was fire in her now. Not just in her veins. In her eyes, her breath, her voice. She wasn't just a queen anymore. She was becoming something more, and he was being pulled with her. Can it be reversed? He asked. She shook her head. It's too late. Looked down at his own arm. The glow was now visible beneath his skin. It was happening slowly, quietly but unstoppable. You'll survive, she said. Because I believe in you. The lights above flickered again. She turned sharply. What is it? He asked. They're coming, she said. He reached for his rifle. No, not soldiers, she whispered. Not bounty hunters. Then, who? She stared at the ceiling as the hum of a distant engine shook the floor. The ones who want the bond erased forever. He moved beside her, loading a charge into the weapon. You said if you die, I become you. I did. Then I won't let you die. She smiled faintly, stepping toward the door. And I won't let you face them alone. The bond was no longer just between two bodies. It had become a fire, one they both carried now, and soon would burn the darkness to ash. In the throne chamber of the Eastern Claw Empire, the new queen stood tall. Her armor was perfect, polished to reflect the lights above. Her crown, stolen from the ashes of a battlefield, sat high on her head. The council knelt before her. Soldiers lined the walls in silence, and yet her hand trembled. A message blinked on the war table in front of her. Location, Earth sector. Subject, confirmed heartbeat pattern. Core flame signature matched. Name, former queen, alive. She crushed the tablet in her hand. They said she was gone, she hissed. One of her generals stepped forward carefully. Her body was never recovered. The queen snapped. Crawling. Her armor cracked. Her power broken. She should have turned to dust. She didn't. And now, the queen whispered, she threatens everything. The general paused. There's more, he said. She turned slowly. She's not alone, he added. The bond is passed. The queen's voice dropped to a razor edge. To who? A human. Silence filled the throne. Her grip tightened. I will not share the flame, she said. Not with a traitor. It's not with an animal. Her eyes glowed deep red. Ready the void fang, she ordered. Burn the Earth sector clean. Deep in the old bunker, former queen's breath caught. She looked up sharply from where she had been drawing ancient symbols across the floor with dust and ash. They found us, she said. Darren froze where he stood, reading ship signals. From an old scanner, there's something heading this way, he said. Big, fast, not like before. It's her, the queen said quietly. The imposter. She's sending the void fang. What is that? She stood slowly. Not a weapon, she said. A decision. It's a kind that ends worlds. Darren stepped back. She's going to destroy the planet? Not the whole thing, she said. Just everything near me. He paced the room. We need to leave. We track the bond anywhere I go. She's not trying to kill us in secret. She wants the galaxy to watch. She wants the core flame erased before it fully passes to you. He looked down at his hands, the veins glowing stronger now, his fingertips flickering with gold light. When his heart raced, if it finishes, he said, what happens? Her voice lowered. You'll carry the full legacy. You'll be gone. She nodded. He clenched his fists. I'm not ready.
Act.
No one ever is, she said, stepping closer. But I will not let her win. He looked at her truly. Looked and saw her skin glowing brighter now, not from pain, but from power. Her ribs, arms, even the tips of her hair shimmered with ancient force. She looked like fire-made flesh. And yet, she was fading, not in body, in presence. The bond was nearly complete. Suddenly, Scanner screamed. He turned the screen filled with symbols. The Void Fang had entered orbit. A countdown. It began 500 seconds. She walked to a compartment under the floor, pulling out a circular disc and placing it on the wall. It expanded into a map, their position at the center, surrounded by flashing red indicators. We can't outrun that, he said. No, she said, but we can outlive it. She drew a line from the blast radius to a small mark deep beneath. The surface, there's a cavern, she said. Old tech buried by your people when the first colony fell. Shielded, forgotten. If we reach it, we might survive. How do you know? Because I've seen it, she said. In your memories. He blinked. My memories? The bond works both ways now, she whispered. I see your past, your pain, your choices. He didn't know what to say. She grabbed his hand the moment their skin touched. The floor beneath them shook. They ran. Out of the bunker, across broken hills, through smoke and scorched ruins. Each second ticking louder inside their heads. Above them, the clouds tore open. A massive shadow moved through the sky, sleek black, pulsing with red lights. The Void Fang, a voice boomed across the valley. Former queen. In your bonded thief. This is your end. She stopped, turned, and looked straight up. Darren pulled her hand. We don't have time. She raised her other hand, glowing now with golden light, and pointed at the ship. A symbol lit up across her chest. The flame is not finished. She whispered, but it burns. Then she ran again. Together, they reached the mouth of the old cavern. Inside, darkness waited. Darren reached for a light. She stopped him. Let it see us, she said. Let the bond mark the path. He stepped into the shadows. Behind them, the sky cracked open. A spear of light, bright, blinding, silent, dropped from the Void Fang and struck the surface. Everything shook. Rocks fell. Dust swirled. The tunnel behind them collapsed, but they were still standing inside. Safe. For now, Darren turned. You said the bond is almost finished. She nodded. He looked into her eyes. Then what's left? Her hand touched his chest again. Just one choice, she said. And you'll no longer be human. He didn't flinch. Then teach me. She smiled softly, proud, tired, and almost free and somewhere above. The fake queen watched the crater below from her throne. She didn't see bodies. She saw a message. The flame had. And her war had just begun. The chamber was silent, deep beneath the earth. Where no signal could reach, Darren stood in the heart of the ancient cavern. Around him, alien markings pulsed with gold light, forming slow circles that rotated like living code. His skin itched. His heartbeat no longer sounded human. Across the room, she knelt. Her hands pressed to the floor. Her breath was shallow now. Her strength, once storm-like, had faded. But her eyes still burned. It's time, she said softly. Darren stepped forward. I feel it, he said, like something waking up inside me. She looked up at him, her voice low but steady. You're not becoming me, she said. You're becoming what I could never be. He didn't understand. She reached toward his chest. The flame doesn't just copy the past, she said. It evolves, learns you're not a vessel. Darren, you're the future. The symbols on the walls brightened. He gasped as his hands glowed. He dropped to one knee, the pressure building in his spine, in his bones, in his voice. I can hear them, he whispered. Who? The queens, the ones who came before. There, in me, her lips trembled. They're watching, guiding, and giving you the one thing they gave me, their fury. The gold light surged across the floor, rising into a column between them. She stood now, weak but upright, and placed her hand inside the glow. "Say the words," she said. Darren didn't know how, but somehow the words were already there. He opened his mouth. The flame answered. "I do not kneel," he said. "I rise." The light struck him like lightning, but he didn't fall. He stood taller. The energy wrapped around him, armored him in glowing fire, etched new symbols into his skin, his chest, his voice. She watched with a fading smile. "You've crossed the line," she whispered. "You're not just bonded, you're chosen." Suddenly she fell. He caught her before she hit the floor. Her body was still, her breath gone. But she wasn't dead. He knew that, because she was alive inside him now, every memory, every moment, every command. The flame was his. Above, far in space, the false queen reclined in her throne aboard the war ark. A fleet of ships surrounded her like claws around prey. They were headed toward Earth, ready to burn what remained. She didn't blink as her general approached. "No signs of movement from the crater," he said. All life signs ceased. She smiled. "Good." But the screen in front of her flickered once, twice then. The message appeared just a single symbol. The mark of the royal flame, and it burned red. Her smile vanished. "That's not possible," she whispered. Behind her, warning sirens began to scream. Outside the ship, stars bent and shifted. Something was coming. Something fast. Something wrapped in the old power. Darren stood at the edge of the canyon. Cloaked in fire and thunder, he had risen from the ashes. He was no longer fully human. He was no longer the man who once searched ruins for scrap. He was something new. He was the voice of the flame, and the galaxy would hear him. A small transmission drone hovered near him. He looked into it. "This is Darren Cole," he said. "You stole her throne? You tried to erase her name. You sent assassins, bombs, fire." His eyes burned gold. "And now you face her fury in me." He raised his hand. The sky cracked open. Dozens of lost royal relics, ships, weapons, drones, long believed broken, or dead, suddenly reactivated across nearby systems. They had waited for a true bond to rise. Now they had one. The flame recognized its heir, and the galaxy would too. Inside the war ark, the false queen screamed as ship after ship in her fleet began to drift out of formation. Their systems refused to obey her. Their pilots lost control. The flame had taken command. She turned to flee, but found her own guards kneeling not to her. 2. The glowing figure now stepping out of a tear in space. He wore no crown. He needed none. Darren stepped forward. Her voice trembled. "You're human." His voice answered, layered with hers. "I was." She raised her blade, royal, pure, sharp. He caught it with his bare hand. It shattered like glass. "You declared me dead," he said. "I did. You tried to erase me. I had to. You failed." The chamber lit with gold light. A burst echoed through the ship, and the queen fell to her knees. Not by force, by truth. She had lost, not to a ghost, but to a man who chose to save. A dying enemy on a field of ash. Darren walked past her. "To rule is not to take," he said. "It is to protect." Later, as the war ark was shut down and peace talks spread through the surviving empires, a quiet message was sent from Earth. No threats, no demands, just a name. The queen returned, and beside it, a new title, Heir of Flame. Born of mercy and across the stars, one truth whispered again and again. She lived through him, and through him she would never die.